In a Noahide society, can just anybody choose to become a judge? If I believe that I'm capable of judging, can I just declare myself judge over others? The answer is no. So then, can the person who appoints the judges just appoint whoever he wants? Again, the answer is no. In this video, we'll explain why a Noahide society must have a proper authority responsible for appointing judges. And we'll do so by looking at the Bible. A Noahide judge must be appointed by the government of an organized human society. Why? Well, first, it follows from the oral tradition. The Noahide Law to establish courts of justice means setting up a system of justice. Self-appointment is not an organized or recognized system, and therefore it doesn't fulfill the obligation to establish courts of justice. In another video, we've already gone over how God doesn't want vigilante justice. Self-appointment, where I declare myself as judge, is a form of vigilante justice. And all of this is established in the Bible as well. Deuteronomy says, "Judges and officers shall you appoint." But even on a basic level, common sense leads to the same conclusion. The purpose of courts and the Noahide obligation to establish courts of justice is to prevent lawlessness and chaos. If people could appoint themselves as judges, several problems would immediately arise. First, unqualified people would become judges. Justice obviously requires knowledge, fairness, and sound judgment. If somebody could just declare themselves a judge, we wouldn't have a safeguard against incompetence or bias. Also, a Noahide judge must meet certain criteria, and in future videos we'll go over these criteria. But not just anybody meets these standards. God has set only specific individuals to fulfill this role. Second, judgments would not be enforceable. A ruling only has meaning if it can actually be enforced. A self-appointed judge cannot reasonably create an authority over others. People will not accept such a person's ruling as valid. Without a recognized system then, people won't accept the judge's rulings, and then the court system itself will break down. Also, judicial power would become arbitrary, because in this case, a self-appointed judge derives his authority from himself, not from a recognized legal system. Justice, however, is meant to be grounded in an objective framework of law, not in just my personal claim. When authority comes from the individual, justice becomes subjective rather than objective. Now, importantly, the government in charge of appointing Noahide judges is also held to a standard. The appointer is forbidden from appointing somebody who is unworthy. We see the Torah's model of justice in Deuteronomy. You shall not show favoritism in judgment. The oral tradition says that this phrase refers to the person who appoints the judges. The appointer cannot show favoritism. So this means a judge cannot just be appointed because he is my friend, or because he's my relative, or because he's popular, or because he's wealthy, and certainly not because he gives me a bribe. The appointer must choose carefully, ensuring the judge is fit for the role. Again, in other videos, we're going to be going over what these criteria are. But to close, we've seen so far that the Noahide obligation to establish courts of justice is very much a societal obligation, not a personal one. This obligation can't just be carried out through my own individual will. No, since justice belongs to society as a whole, judges must be appointed by a recognized authority of that society. And this appointer must not show favoritism in judgment. Only with these conditions can justice be truly consistent, accountable, and just. This is on appointing Noahide judges. On this channel, we go through all the Noahide laws and the Noahide legal system, which is the legal system of the future, so subscribe so you don't miss out. Thank you, as always, for watching.